Hello, beauties. Hello. Happy Friday. Hello, hello. Very excited to be here. I'll just make sure that we are live. We are. Hello. Now, it's been a while. Oh, not a while. It's been a couple of weeks, and there's a lot to report. I've come back from a huge conference in Sydney, a lot to report there about really stepping in as a leader in our customization. What are we actually bringing forward to our clients? This whole client experience, it's just not a treatment. Stepping into giving the client the experience and sharing the experience. I wanted to cover that. And the whole topic of charging for our consultation. Like, what is underneath the fear of charging for a consultation? Do we charge for a consultation? Do we not? I'd love to know from our community here. Are you currently charging for a consultation? If you are, fantastic. And how long generally are your consults? Do you normally do a check-in with each client before a consultation? And just also what's going on in the industry that's going to help you move your profitability and revenue further faster. So let's buckle in, but before, let's do some housekeeping. I'll just see who's here. I can't quite see that on my PC, so I'll just jump into my app. Yep. Well, I'm in the right group. I'll just add everyone just so people know that it's happening and it's live. Fantastic. Oh, damn, you can't. I already at people already today, so I can't inform you all that if you miss out, we can just watch the replay. Not a problem. Well, I've had an interesting, before I jump into the mini conversation, I've had an interesting experience recently. Has anyone here had their ears blocked and had to have their ear canal cleaned out? Like, insane. So last Saturday I was in emergency hospital in our local hospital, and yeah, I couldn't hear. I had 50% hearing both ears, and I was very frightened that I was losing my hearing. I knew I wasn't at the deeper level, but not having a hearing just was petrifying. So I needed to go and get my ear canals washed, which I've never had that done before. So made an appointment with the doctors. Only could get it on a Wednesday, so I had to wait a couple of days from Saturday. My God, that was a long wait with not having 50% less hearing. And so, yeah, they did a whole ear cleanse, put this ear drill water in through my ears, holding like a kidney dish at my cheeks, and they flushed out both ears. And the biggest takeaway, we all know that cotton buds are dangerous, but what was happening, I was cleaning my ears. I'm a bit obsessed with cleaning my ears. Not that I go too deep or too hard, but regardless if I was going on the outside, just point to you all, if you do this, you are pushing, and we are pushing wax back into the ears. So over many months and years of doing this, the wax that was there was being dislodged into the ear canal even deeper. So big problem. Anyway, got it sorted, and now I'm on eardrop antibiotics because my right ear is slightly inflamed. But yes, all is good. But I'm so excited I went to Sydney for this conference. I actually was home in Bellingen, so I flew from Coffs Harbour to Sydney on the Sunday night, attended the conference at Taronga Zoo Conference Event Centre, and it was just exciting because not only was the founder's son of Gernétic Skincare there, and I've been with this company for 28 years. Is that why I don't look my age? Actually, in fact, what was really interesting, one of the women I used to coach, she's 44, so 10 years younger than me, and she said, Naomi, have you had a lower facelift? I was like, what the hell? No. She says, how is your neck so amazing for your age? I was like, never really thought about that. I had to think about that. I was like, well, I've been using a Gernétic for 28 years. She said, well, I've been using Gernétic a long time too, but I think we're also predisposed to certain, how our skin behaves and what happens, the structural integrity on our genetic level. I mean, we do now know scientifically that genetics are only 30% of our skin result, and 70% is our own responsibility from our environment, what we eat, how we sleep, medications, what we drink, the skincare we use, the quality of nutrients we absorb, the type of exercise we do. So all the things that we do and don't do is only 70%. Not only 70%, start again. 30% is genetics of how we look long term, and 70% is what we are responsible for. So it's like, it's probably a combination for me because I do so much yoga. I'm always doing like up dogs, so my neck is always being stretched in my up dogs. But I'm also very aware that our face does not end at our jawline, it actually ends at our décolletage because all those muscles are connected up to the jaw. So my skincare doesn't just end here, I bring it all the way down. So perhaps it's a combination, who knows. Anyway, it was a beautiful compliment regardless. And but what was amazing about this event was meeting the founder's son, because the founder, Mr. Lapo, he is passed and his son is now holding his legacy. And you know, to meet the founder and to meet the international trainers and the master trainer, and to see Angie, the international trainer, perform her treatments was beautiful. Actually took some tips away, and you know, it was just really great to actually really understand a deeper level that what we're doing as skin aesthetic professionals, really we need to step into elevating more, that we're giving our clients an experience. It's not just a service or a treatment, so that will elevate what and how you charge. And consultation is a service. That was one of the biggest things I took away. Emma Hodson, who I've used to be trained under when she was with Dermatologica way back in the early 90s, is now a consultant, much like I am now. And she's speaking my language. She talked about the gap. She talked about permission-led leadership. She talked about consultation as a service. These are all the things that she and I have in common when it comes to coaching and building a business that is thriving. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, is moving our mindset from not charging to charging, and how we can do that easily, seamlessly, and with a leadership mindset, and not a people-pleasing mindset, not a fear-based mindset, and also owning your expertise, your skills, and your knowledge. So I just want to bring that forward today, that how important this is for our industry. And you know, it's just, a consultation must be seen as a service. It's just not an add-on. It's not a free chat. It's a service. It's an opportunity to consult, to share our knowledge, our wisdom, our expertise, and our experience. And you know, I want to call out the industry pattern here, because in our industry there is a certain amount of people that still hesitate to charge, and we hesitate to fully share our knowledge. And you know, that is a bit of a lack mindset. We hold back because we think we're overwhelming our clients. And I say that because my current coaching client, she's an expert in her field of cosmetic tattooing, and she's a specialist of 20 years. And she said to me on our meeting on Tuesday that I hesitate to share everything in the consult in the fear of overwhelming my clients. And I said to her, that is a perceived idea you are holding on to. If you frame it in a way where you can say, look, my consultations are very thorough, there's a lot of knowledge and there's a lot of information to be shared here. I don't want to overwhelm you, but what I want to give you is exceptional value, incredible results, and a whole experience. So what that does, it frames the client to go, oh, okay, so I just settle in and just take time to absorb all of this information. And what it does to her is it reframes in the client's mind that she is the specialist, she is the expert, because she is. She's just not doing cosmetic tattooing, she's restructuring faces, she's designing symmetry, she's mapping out someone's features to have a whole enhanced experience. So if you put that model into what you're doing, you'll see exactly the same synergy, I suppose. Because, you know, with her feeling overwhelmed, well, more to the point, she was feeling like she was overwhelming her clients because of the amount of information that she would like to share. She was holding back. And this is the exact problem. Because when we reframe the overwhelmed story, this is where things shift. Because information without reframing feels overwhelming. Does that make sense? Is that landing? I'll just say it again. Information, so your information that you want to share in your consult, without framing it, it will feel overwhelming for your clients. Because the great thing is information will create leadership, and that feels valuable. And when you say things like, there's going to be quite a lot of information today because I want you to feel fully understood and what is possible, that's, you know, that's a guide where your clients will feel really supported by you. And when you can say, I'll guide you step by step, you're not overwhelming a client, you're positioning. You're positioning yourself as a specialist and an expert and a leader. And this is where authority is built. So let's look at this, the real reasons we don't charge. Would you like to know? So there's a few, and I really want to expose them. It's not to criticize or to put anyone down or to judge, but it's to expose them so we can look at it like a mirror and see, are we doing these things? So let's talk about why we hesitate to charge for a consultation. A lot of the time we don't feel credible enough, and that's not the truth. That's a story you're telling yourself. And if we can change the story, we can change the belief. And we can then change the belief to, I am credible. I've got this much experience. I see so many people a week, a day, a year. There's another hesitation why we don't charge is often in our industry, because we're such nurturers and givers, there is a people-pleasing tendency. And I used to have this. I still charge for my consult, but I'd overgive so much. And this can be a real problem, because you can't solve all your clients' problems in one service, one treatment, one experience. But what you can do in your consultation is map out the whole journey, the whole experience, and the result they want to achieve, and then you create a whole plan. So you stop the people-pleasing of trying to solve all the problems and overdoing, overworking, because more doesn't mean getting better results. More just means exhaustion and burnout and tiredness, basically. And the third areas why we hesitate to charge is we project our own money stories onto the client. And this is subconscious. Really, there's so many money stories. I've heard things like, oh, they're going to be paying enough for their treatment. Oh, I don't want them to take products because their treatment is already costing enough. Or maybe they should just buy one product because, oh, they look like they can't afford it. So they judge the client on how they look or what the client's talking about. And yes, sometimes we are having hard times as a client financially, but that doesn't mean next time or the next time after the next time will be a hard time financially. So we need to be really transparent with our client and share that How are you financially if I was able to create a whole program for you that will give you the results you want? And you know when clients are invested in their skincare, when you see how many products they currently use. Often it's the women that tend to do masks, eye creams, and those extra serums that are more invested in looking after their skin. If you get clients that really only want to do minimal treatments, that's when you can minimize their home care. But the thing is, if you're projecting your own money story, that's where you hesitate to charge for a consultation. And just check in with yourself, are you doing that? And the other reason is why we hesitate to charge for a consultation is we are never taught how to structure a consultation. And there is a structure around it, absolutely. And this is what I master. Because to have a team of 4 full-time therapists, and at the time, in the day of making over 10K a week, because we had to because of the overheads, you know, was amazing. And they all did it because I trained them in my system. And I have a proven structure now. And when I work 2 weeks on once a month, this is a structure that I follow. And in fact, it works each and every time. My energy's there, the revenue shows up, my clients get the results, and I get referrals. So this is when it lands and it really works, because at some point we have to stop, you know, putting perceived ideas on our clients, people pleasing, and start leading. How's this all landing? I'll just see if anyone's here. Give me a hello, I'd love to hear from you. Hashtag live and hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, because the people watching the replay are equally as important. So back to it. So this is where you can thread in how we charge and how you can charge, because leadership means we charge, and you are a leader. You are the CEO, and we need to lean into this, step into this, and step up to it. If you are diagnosing, mapping, prescribing, personalizing, customizing, and solving your clients' biggest problems, challenges, struggles, you are delivering a service. And service means value, and value has a price, right? It does. And where does this actually fit? So what we need to do is understand before the system, we have to look at, we're not being aggressive, we're not being defensive. It's just factual, and we need to be grounded in it, because that takes away all the emotional blocks. So before I teach the system, we just need to understand that this is just a way of consulting. And we can transition into a system, because this is the real issue here. It's not about courage, it's not about confidence, it's about a system. And a system sounds really dry and boring and very corporate, but systems create logic. And if we're not following a system, what are we following? Our feelings, emotions, and they're often not a true gauge. Your consultation is your highest converting sales system, whether you like those words or not. We need to normalize that your consultation is selling your home care programs, your treatments, your products, your upgrades. And often it's not put to you like this, but we need to step in and understand, yes, this is fantastic. Sales isn't a manipulation. Sales is value exchange. Sales is solving problems and challenges and your clients' biggest concerns and struggles. So let's define a system. So a system, or a consultation system, uncovers your client's greatest concerns. It maps out the long-term plan. and it designs the treatment pathway, and it designs the treatment framework, if that makes sense. It structures rebookings, it integrates home care, and confirms your next steps for your clients. It's succinct, and when it's succinct, it's not a chat, it's a system. And this is where I want you to be highly profitable, because without a system, you operate on a feeling. With a system, you operate on logic, as I said before, because logic takes the guesswork out, the hesitation, you don't undercharge, and you don't exhaust yourself. And that is part of the system. And with a system, revenue becomes predictable because the process is repeatable. This is your leadership moment. All of that. I just find that so exciting, knowing that it's possible. And you can shift having low profitability to consistent 10K weeks and beyond easily and effortlessly if you step into this. And as I was sharing before with my client, this is the same client. We had her first meeting 3 weeks ago, and she was charging $79 for a whole brow service. And we're not talking about a quick wax and a tidy up. We're talking about a whole restructuring, mapping out, consultation, and framing the client's face absolutely like model-like. Incredible. She's an incredible artist. And she said she charges $79, and I said to her, you could easily charge $99. I don't know why you're not. And she felt very nervous. On Tuesday, she came back and says, I cannot believe it. I changed it on my booking site, and clients still booked in for $99. And she said nothing changed. They still booked in because they see the value. And that's the thing. And she's owning the value now. You know what happened? Her energy expanded, her confidence grew, and her nervous system shifted. She felt so just solid in what she's doing. And she finally felt aligned with her pricing and her positioning. She felt like a real expert. She knew she was, but until she actually had proof of that people would pay the extra $20, she could not believe, and her bookings continue to grow. It's almost like she was undercharging, and now she's actually charging what she's meant to charge. She could actually charge more, to be honest. I've seen her work. She's incredible. So it's a bit like if you went to Mercedes and were buying a Holden, you don't expect to pay a Mercedes price for a Holden car, right? So she's in that league. So she's matching the service, the value, the experience, and the expertise she's delivering. And that's what I wanted to really make sure that this is coming through, that we really do need to align ourselves with how we show up, with our energy, our mindset, our positioning as an expert, as a specialist. And this is the difference. Like if you go to a specialist, they give you the time. They give you the time to sit and chat and work out what is going on with your health or the reason why you're there. And if they don't, that's why it's an undercharged service. So I want you to step in and lean into the possibility of removing those blocks, so you do become highly profitable by being busy and not just nice. You become highly profitable by being clear, structured, and confident. And consultation is not free advice. It's your most powerful sales system. So if we can master that, everything changes. So how does that land for you, everyone? This is something I've been doing for 33 years. I've done over 36,000 consultations. And to date, it is my proven pathwork and my proven pathway framework to get me to where I have been for so long. So I just really want you to understand that what's missing in your, is it a mindset shift that needs to occur? Is it a structure that you haven't put into place? Because now I'm working with that client, we're putting a flow sequence together, so nothing is missed out of the consultation at all. So the client walks away with a full program, how she can help and correct the client for the next 6 months. And that's where we need to be heading. Not just this treatment here and now, but actually framing where they could be going. So you're actually allowing the client to be a long-term client. Yeah. Hope this little mini check-in training was valuable, everyone. Let me know. Very exciting on this Friday. And yeah, I just had a lot to share then, didn't I? So, all right, beauties, let me know how this lands. I love giving value. I love helping you out. If there's something specific you'd like me to chat about, let me know, and drop your comments below. Sending you so much love. Have the best weekend, and catch you next time. Bye for now, beauties.